Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever it is, wherever you are. Thank you for watching this presentation of the Link to the Past Randomizer League playoffs here on SpeedGaming 2. It is Team I Like Big Boots versus Team The Spoilers, represented by zer0rush and zelgadissan, respectively. I probably still butchered that. My apologies. A lot to get to here, but first and foremost, my name is Westside Vandal. With me on commentary is Reg. How you doing today?
Doing good. We are bringing you the first game of the league playoffs today, and we have got an absolute doozy of modes here. We can see Standard and Defeat Ganon at the top. We can see on the screens here they're holding swords, but what you can't see is they're going to be doing all the dungeons, all the pendants, Aga 1 included, otherwise Ganon's going to call him a dingus, and we're playing a map compass shuffle on top of that. So.
Indeed. So how this works is this is the Pendant of Power matchup in the playoffs, and the Pendant of Power matchup works. The higher seed got to choose the settings for this matchup, the higher seed in this case being zer0rush. The lower seed, Zelda, did get to have one veto, and Zelda chose to veto Inverted World State. And then zer0rush made this seed. So we'll be seeing, as mentioned, Standard Sword Assured All Dungeons Map and Compass Shuffle, which try saying that 5 times fast.
Yep. And then the only other bit of background we've got on this match for now, these two teams actually played against each other in week 4 of the regular season, because the playoff bracket format has the 2 and 3 seeds from the same division pairing off against each other and then moving on after that. And we actually did see zer0rush versus Zelda at that time. I don't know what seed was played because it was during the mystery week, but zer0rush did win.
Alrighty. So zer0rush looking to give his team a good start. Well, both players honestly looking to give their team a good start coming into the playoffs. Zelgadissan looking for a little bit of revenge, and we are underway. Red mail is for cowards, apparently.
Yeah, Miles Edgeworth is a coward. We knew it all along.
Oh, hot Phoenix Wright takes on this Link to the Past stream.
Yeah, gotta give those. But
I mean, you know, when something smells, it's usually the butts, right? Oh wait, hold on. Moving on.
Yeah, it's standard mode. We gotta wait for these guys to drop down to Uncle and get whatever he's got before they can even swing their sword. But let's pay attention to what the guards drop when they start killing those. Or not, we've got bombs right out the gate.
Yeah, I was about to say.
So, actually, with that heart drop, there is a 50-50 chance that the guards are in a prize pack that has bombs. It doesn't really matter much, but it's a thing.
Right. So to answer an early question in chat, yes, we do know exactly what this mode is. It is a standard all dungeons sword assured seed with map and compass shuffle on.
Yeah, and that's going to be a lot to keep in mind, and I'm sure that everybody who's popping into the race slightly late is going to need to get that figured out, because it's not at all obvious from the fact that we're doing Escape that we've got anything besides standard mode.
Yep. Can we explain how the playoffs function? We sure can. At the start of the season, when teams registered, they selected a player to represent each of the 3 pendants, power, courage, and wisdom. This is a pendant of power. So the first 3 matches of the series, which is best of 5, each of the pendant holders will face off against each other. Pendant of, I have it written down here. Pendant of Wisdom will play Ambrosia, Pendant of Courage will play Open, and Pendant of Power, as you see here, the higher seed gets to pick the mode, and the lower seed gets 1 veto. Once those 3 games are played, if there is a need for a game 4 and 5, the teams can then choose to send out whoever they wish, and games 4 and 5 will be played under similar rules to Pendant of Power. Only exception being game 4 has the roles reversed, where the lower seed can pick the mode and the higher seed gets a veto. As we are talking, all the way to Zelda's Cell now are our 2 runners. Down goes the Ball and Chain Guard. I don't think we've seen anything too important in Escape so far.
Literally the most important thing we've seen so far is more bombs.
Cool.
Yeah, but you did a good job explaining the format of the playoffs. The bracket of the playoffs is the second and third seeds coming out of each division play each other in round 1. I like Big Boots being the second seed, the Spoilers being the third seed. The winner of this best of 5 goes on to face the first seed of their division, which in the case of this one, it's Team Kinda Rando Retired. And then after that, they will play a team from some other division in conference semifinals. So they will play another Light World Conference team. In this case, actually, I don't have the list of what teams are in what division right in front of me. Sorry, let me pull that up.
Yeah, I have. Let's see here. The way the brackets would work out, it looks like the winner of this division would go on to face the winner of the Lake Hylia division, which would be Clown Parade and Utang Clan are in the play-in series, and Pug Trio is waiting for the winner of that series.
Yep. And then after that, Light World Conference Finals which will play against whoever comes out of the other side of the Light World bracket, which is the Hyrule Castle and Lost Woods division. And then finally, we've got the whole same thing going on with the 4 Dark World divisions, and the winners of each conference will play in the finals.
So a lot of information to cover. We probably won't be covering it too much more in depth in this, because once we get through Escape here, there's probably going to be a lot of things going on in this race to look at. But if you need a refresher on any of that, as already linked in chat for those of you live, ALTTPRleague.com has all the information you need.
Yep. And the most important thing about this seed so far, more bombs.
Yep, our runner's definitely not going to need to do any bomb farming tricks today. Going to be able to check the back of Escape here and open up Kakariko Well, alongside a couple other things.
Yep. And before these 3 tests here, a full half of the pulls we'd seen so far were bombs, and it was great.
And getting a good start on the rupees we're going to need as well. 40 rupees just for the taking there in the back of Escape. We would ideally like to see 100 before we reach Kakariko, so that we could buy whatever the bottle vendor is selling.
Ideally, yes. Although really the magic number for Kakariko is 60, because you can get 30 in the back of Blind's Hideout and then 10 more as well, and that makes 100 and you're fully set.
They're absolutely right. It's almost a moot point now, because there's 50 more rupees, meaning we only need 10 more to reach that 100 mark.
Yeah, 60 is the assumption that you find absolutely none in the 10 pulls between Blind's Hideout and the Well, and that's, even if we didn't get those 50 there, frankly, that's not a reasonable assumption. And
chat helping out chat here. Their question was, what is map compass shuffle? And as answered in chat, think of it like key sanity, except the keys are still locked to their respective dungeons. Maps and compasses have been shuffled out into the item pool. Speaking of bombs, there's a nice 4-pack on the bomb pool.
I love this seed. I love this seed already. I love early game bombs so much.
So, as demonstrated there by finding the map of Turtle Rock on the Lost Woods mushroom spot, the map and the compass, well, there's a compass now too. Thanks, game. You're making it so much easier for me to explain things. Those are usually in their respective dungeons. In Map Compass Shuffle, they are out in the world and provide a function to make up for being out in the world. The map tells you what a dungeon is, whether it's a pendant or a crystal, and the compass, well, the compass tells you how many items you've opened in the dungeon, which for most players isn't that useful, but you never know.
Yeah, especially when we're into the playoffs and we're especially these 2 runners in particular are both really, really good. So I don't think we'll see either one go out of their way for a compass at all. They know the item counts. They can keep track of all that in their head.
Yeah. So, note I was talking about compasses there. Maps are definitely important to know pendant and crystal configuration in most seeds. This one is in all dungeons, so it's not as important here.
That's true. It does still somewhat matter because in this format, pendant progression can be in Ganon's Tower.
You're
So if
fair.
you've got Pendant Swamp Palace, you can have a mirror in there. But beyond that, it's really just the green pendant and the 5-6 crystals that are super important to know. And coincidentally, those are the ones you can find out by talking to Sahastral over in his hut and the Dark World Bomb Vendor.
A lot of hearts and a lot of bombs early in this seed. Also, pretty decent supply of rupees.
Yeah. I was about to say no 300s, but
yeah. It's like the seed knows from 15 minutes in the past. Blue mail there is our first significant find, followed quickly by the Master Sword.
yeah, those are two items that no runner is ever going to say no to when they're in the way. So, a lot of blue this seed between all the bombs and those items.
Indeed. And there's the powder early. Interesting.
Yeah. Not very useful early on. We can get a magic back check in with the hammer, but it's pretty overrated as a safety until you start getting to those in-game mid-stocks dungeon, your Ice Palace, your Turtle Rock, your Misery Mire, your GT.
We do find the map of Eastern here, so we could have some information if either of our runners wanted to do a map check. But honestly, at this early point in the seed, in an all-dungeon seed, doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, probably won't see the map check until we've got like probably 2 Light World maps and 3 or 4 Dark World ones. But like you said earlier, we got to do them all, so it's not a huge factor.
All right, so what is on the race game today? Just 5 rupees.
Yeah, so presumably time to go down, see what the South Shore's got for us today.
Indeed. Wasn't really anything of note on the library bookshelf either, so probably won't be seeing come back to that particular area anytime soon.
Yeah, at this point in the seed, there's really just 3 reasons to go back to CAC. That's your Dark World portal, your flute, and a fetch quest check, whether it's that powder we've already got or a bottle for the sick kid.
Well, there's our Moon Pearl.
That's a good find. Blocks literally the whole Dark World.
Yep.
But doesn't unlock anything for us yet. Still need like a glove and a hammer, 2 gloves, or just to go kill Aghanim.
Yep. And still a little bit too early to be wanting to climb Castle Tower. Just a single rupee at the bottom of the reservoir there. I can just stay there. Maybe if our runners had about 48 more rupees at this point.
Well, they've still got 6 in logic checks to try to pull them.
Fair.
And then 3 more out of logic ones to try.
Fair point. Alrighty. And, well, there you go. 20 rupees right there. And our mirror.
And our glove.
Okay, then.
Yeah, the blue item train kept going for a little bit longer. That glove does put the 500 rupee fish into logic for us. And that 20 gets us almost right there. So, and actually that glove, you can farm that rock or right in front of Ishod Cave. That's 20 rupees a pop. zer0rush can just pop in and do that if he wants.
Yeah, and Zelda could as well. It's only 1.5 trips in for him.
Yeah, definitely valid for him too. Just a little unfortunate he's got 10 less rupees somewhere, so he'll lose a few seconds having to do that a second time.
And it looks like both of our runners have the same idea. Gonna be grabbing some money out of that cave. Or not, in zer0rush's case.
Yeah. Zelda's still gonna have to, though, just to cross that last threshold. Because, I mean, you could always just hope that it's on, like there's cash on the hobo or cash in the waterfall cave. And there's decent odds of that, but that's a huge gamble.
Yep. Especially when you're that close. I could understand possibly if Zelga had to like make say 2 or 3 trips in, I could see maybe taking the gamble, but when it's just literally 1 trip in real quick and then you know you have enough, yeah. All right. So, easy fake flipper for both of our runners, heading up to the hobo under the bridge, who is going to give us the Cane of Samaria. Okay, then.
That sure ain't blue. I like that item a lot. It enables all the fun recently allowed glitches, and it's usable. Let's put it that way.
Yep. Oh, Zelga having a little bit of trouble with the reverse fake flipper. There we go.
Yeah, just a word of caution for anybody attempting that fake flipper. Don't face downwards when you jump. If you do that, you soft lock your game. Make sure you're facing sideways.
Yeah, I've done that more than a few times. It never feels good. All right. Lake Hylia, just 20 rupees today. We're not going to need that.
While zer0rush checks the waterfall cave, the chat's asking if cane and bombs are enough to splash delete. And they'll question that with that bow. But
yeah.
Yes, they are. You can splash delete with just cane and bombs. However, I'm not sure that you can get Zora Ledge with it unless you've already got a water walk set up.
Alrighty. So we are going to be on the lookout for those flippers here, as they are locking a couple of very important pieces of progression to get back into the logic chain here.
That could logically be second bow, and logically Kane could be pretty much anywhere before Turtle Rock, so those flippers could still be super deep.
This is a fair call. Oh, zer0rush saying, you know what? You can keep your shield and your 500 rupees.
I'm a fan of that call. I don't like shields. More specifically, I don't like baby shields.
Alrighty. So, King of Scams, kind of scamish. You know, depending on your opinion on shields, I'm okay with them for the most part.
Well, zer0rush just took a rock to the face because he refused the shield, so...
Yeah.
I don't know. 500 rupees or half a heart of health.
Alright, there's another piece of information for us. The green pendant is in Ice Palace today. There's our Book of Medora.
Great map there, too.
Yeah.
Very useful.
Yep. Gotta love finding the map for Hyrule and Ganon's Tower. Those are two you're just like, great. I'm glad this exists in the item pool.
Yeah. Although that Ice Palace pendant is interesting, because I was talking earlier about progression items in Ganon's Tower. If Swamp Palace is a pendant, then that makes it theoretically... Well, no, I say that, but Canisari was on Hobo. That sort of throws all that out the window. Yeah, sorry, I got ahead of myself.
Well, that doesn't necessarily lock Ganon's Tower out of the equation. It could just be on the left side of Ganon's Tower.
Well, no, because if you got 2 flipper lock pendants, then at least one of my or Turtle Rock has to be a crystal.
This is a fair call. I did not think of that myself. Good catch.
I was trying to see how deep into the logic I could get that waterfall cave bow, but not with that cane there.
Yeah. All right, so big key in the first chest of Eastern here.
That's usually convenient, but in this mode, since the maps and compasses are shuffled, the vanilla big key chest, which is behind the dark room and is really long and obnoxious to get, does have some potential item in it, so you can't just good faith ignore that.
So both of our runners are going to be unwilling cowards today, as the red mail is in that in that chest there. as our first item of 3 in the Eastern. That is going to put a damper on most attempts to death warp.
Good news is we've
Without
got
some serious consideration. Sorry.
Oh, there's our second bow.
Okay, then.
Yeah,
French vanilla
I'm
bow,
a fan.
why not?
But yeah. The good news for this seed is that even with that red mail hampering death warp, okay.
And the hammer!
Yeah, I love this seed.
That's all 3 items, zer0rush. What are you doing?
No, this is map compass shuffle, so there's 5 items.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry.
And then you mentioned death warps earlier. We do have the magic mirror, so that does mitigate any form of problems with death warp. Granted, I think the most useful place for that is Hyrule Castle, and we've already been through there because standard mode. But yeah, we've got Dark World access. Chat's already saying it, but we could literally see one of these runners finish this dungeon, walk straight south, and then walk right back up to Palace of Darkness.
And honestly, that doesn't sound that bad of a play if these runners can handle dark rooms, which at this point, getting into the playoffs in a 64-team league, you can probably handle dark rooms. It's 6 items and you need to do the dungeon anyway. Or, no, excuse me, 8 items and you need to do the dungeon anyway. I keep forgetting MC Shuffle, sorry. And it's 5 and 7 because I was thinking Swamp for some reason. I'm just on fire right now, so I'm going to just shut up for a minute.
Yeah. Also, there is something I didn't look at. Their rupee counts after paying Zora are quite low. There is a rupee room here. Doesn't look like zer0rush is going for it because he's trying to kill that Igor with his sword. Yeah, he found it. He's got his bow now. If he can get close enough, yeah, that should have done it. But without 110 rupees here and zer0rush not going for that rupee room, we're not actually seeing Palace of Darkness because it costs 110 to get in there.
Yep, absolutely. Got a little ahead of ourselves there.
There is always the Armos Knights dropping 100 or a 300 pack, but I wouldn't gamble on that.
It would be hilarious if it happened, though.
Yeah, but I don't think it'll drag zer0rush to pod, because if he was intent on that, he would have gone to the rupee room.
Actually, speaking of the rupee room, looks like Zelda did actually go in there. So, looks like Zelda is thinking about going to Palace of Darkness after he cleans up the Armos Knights here, which zer0rush has already done. Picks up that first crystal at 20 minutes, 50 seconds or so.
Silver arrows are an absolutely wonderful thing, aren't they?
Yes, very much so. There is the save and quit from zer0rush there.
So it looks like zer0rush is going to be straight off to Hype Cave. Very quick 5-item check.
Yep. This location sometimes known as Hype Cave at the very least.
Yeah, it's always called Hype Cave. Sometimes it just fails to live up.
Alrighty. So Zelda with the quick cleanup there as well, and now he is making his way down to the portal.
Yep. It feels like it's not very often that you see somebody walk over here.
Oh, Titans and Hype.
That'll let him do the reverse Dark World loop from Hype Cave all the way up to Skull Woods, which is super convenient.
Speaking of super convenient, there's half magic.
Yeah, but at this stage in the seed, what are you going to use it for? To get an extra, what, like 32 Samaria shots, I think it is?
Fair. Alrighty. So zer0rush indeed gonna start doing that Dark World loop here. Actually, he's gonna go do Bombos Tablet here as well. I did not think of this because I'm not used to having this much stuff this early in a seed.
Yeah. With him gonna be inevitably doing the south to north loop, the reverse loop, this is really smart from him to remember to do this now. because he's not going to turn in the purple chest using the conventional loot that you normally would.
Right.
So if he doesn't do it now, it's orphaned, and even if it's trash, better to do and have gotten than to pass up on progression.
So just a piece of heart there, but still a good call for the reasons you just explained. But yeah, especially I feel like in a standard and an all dungeon seed, we have gotten a lot of items real quickly here. And speaking of items, there's our first bottle in the left side of Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, that means Zelda will be able to knock out both of those Kakariko fetch quests whenever he's in the area again. Ideally for him, he would find the flute just so that he could knock all that out in one go and not have to make yet another backtrack, but...
Alrighty, K45, just a piece of heart. As Zelda continues his journey into Palace of Darkness. Question from chat, is this a risky move? Not at all at this point. These are experienced runners with red mail and silvers. This should not be too hard at all. Granted, you would love to see like Fire Rod or the Lamp to not have to do some of these dark rooms, but dark room navigation has been a thing for a while. That is allowed, so...
Yeah, and I have complete faith in both Zelda and zer0rush being able to do whatever rooms they want in the dark at this point. Honestly, even including Aga's Tower, even though we're not going to see it, because at this point in the seed with the items these guys have, there's no way we're seeing Aga Tower anytime except after GT, unless there's something on Lumberjack.
Alrighty, a bunch of digs for a full heart container there. MC is map compass shuffle. Basically, think of it as key sanity light. Small and big keys are still locked to their dungeons. Speaking of which, there's the big key of Palace of Darkness there for Zelda. The maps and compasses have all been shuffled out into the world and function exactly as they do in key sanity. Maps showing crystal or pendant status, and compass just telling you how many items you've gotten.
Here's another fun check from zer0rush. Those early mitts letting him go grab the smith and go straight to hammer pegs.
Yep.
Although I'm a bit curious how he intends to handle the purple chest here. Is he just going to leave it for now, or...
I mean,
skip the dungeons and take it on another floor?
I would for now, because it is... There's a lot of checks he can get to right here, right now, including Thieves Town, which he has to do anyway. I mean, yes, you kind of want to try and leave dungeons for a little bit if you can to mitigate the amount of time you have to spend in them. Because, got to go fast and everything. But...
yeah, Thieves Town is a dungeon with a very minimal concept of go mode. So if you're going to do one immediately, that's... almost always going to be the one. And he's just leaving the chest.
Thieves Town, yep, Thieves Town has 6 items in it, and then there's 3 surrounding thieves in Village of Outcasts. Then you also got to think there's the potential for 4 items in Skull Woods.
Yes, although one of those items is always going to be either in or directly locked by the Moth. Because Mothzilla cannot hold a small key.
Nice hammer jump by Zelda there.
Yeah, and here's Zelda in the dark, getting a something that we could not see. Oh, his rupees.
Yeah, I was about to say his rupees count is increasing, so it looks like it was a large supply of rupees.
Judging from his total, I think it must have been a 300 pack.
Yep.
And then something that we could not see.
Yep. And zer0rush tried to do chess game, but was 7 rupees short.
Honestly, should have dug more at the dig game, really.
Yeah. probably wasn't even thinking about it until until he was told, well, hey, look at this. You need 30 rupees. Speaking of looking at things, that's the fire rod.
And that'll let him walk straight north to Skull Woods immediately after this, which gotta feel really good.
Indeed. Meanwhile, looks like Palace of Darkness did not pay off item-wise for zelgadissan, from what we've seen so far.
Nope. Unless that bottle turns out to be a really big fetch quest, which is super unlikely. Zelda is just going to have to go to the Dark World with not much to show aside from whatever Helmasaur drops.
And that's Tempered Sword there in Thieves Town, so this seed is definitely going, hey, you don't have to worry about the combat, which scares me, because usually when you don't have to worry about combat, you have to worry about, okay, where's the trolley item?
Where's the ice rod? Where's the flippers? Where's the flute? Luckily, we've already got the mirror, but like, where's your medallions? Where's your hook shot? There are still several things missing this season.
Yes. All right. Zelda making his way back through the darkness to Helmasaur King here.
Yeah, he got through the most difficult dark room in the game without really even blinking. Dude absolutely knows what he's doing with these rooms. And he is knocking down Helma's mask super quick. He's not holding his sword out for the range extension, which reduces lag by a lot, even if it does increase the difficulty, but he's got no trouble with that.
17 bonks with that hammer, and 1 silver arrow is enough to take down Helmasaur King here. And there's our mirror shield.
Oh, he must have found the second shield in the dark then.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Alrighty. So that is a second crystal for Zelda. zer0rush not going to be too far behind on bosses defeated. We do not know what Blind has on him, though.
We know it's going to be some form of item, but that's about it right now. And the good news for Zelda, he is also starting his Dark World loop with Hype Cave.
Indeed.
Because if he missed that, he would have missed those mitts until way after. And really the only checks he would have missed out on that immediately are the smith area, the smiths and the hammer pegs. But still would feel bad to leave those checks behind when your opponent already did not.
Yeah. Alrighty, so now rescuing the maiden, receiving the map of Ice Palace.
Actually, there is one thing. Because zer0rush immediately ran over and checked the Bombos tablet, he actually did not check with the Bomb Bender what the 5-6 crystals are, so we don't have that information. I'm curious if Zelda will go do it.
That's a good catch. We shall see. Speaking of bombs, that was all that was in the big chest there for Thieves Town.
We did see a map check on Zelda's side, and we saw a pendant at Swamp Palace, and Turtle Rock was a crystal.
All right, and our 5-6 are Tower of Hera and Skull Woods.
All right, so that's pretty much all the information we really need as far as that goes, because this is all dungeons, so going to be killing all the bosses regardless.
So, funny story, the first time I ever did commentary was the first time I ever saw the Maya requires Quake, Ether, or Bombos hint from Blind. But the message went by so quickly that I thought it said either, which is, of course, what the devs were intending. So I freaked out thinking they had somehow implemented Blind giving you an opaque hint instead of a pun. On commentary. I felt amazing when I got corrected on that one.
Yeah. I had the opposite issue when I first saw that one. I straight up didn't understand it because I didn't get the pun there. And zer0rush 1 rupee shy. Gonna check Sick Kid for it. Was trying to farm bushes for it. Got him.
Got him. Nice, yeah. Now watches the duplicate, like either the duplicate item he gets or the actual item is like 100 rupees. I would laugh so hard.
Yeah, you can get 100 rupees from there. You can't reliably farm it, but you can definitely get it.
Mm-hmm. Heart and mushroom. Okay, then.
Slowly but surely knocking out our fetch quests. And with the mirror, there is a convenient timing to turn that in whenever you go check Catfish.
Indeed.
Of course, that's only as convenient as the Catfish check itself is.
Yeah, which is to say not a whole lot. Zelda now following in zer0rush's footsteps up the southern half of Dark World here. zer0rush already up to the northern end, heading into Skull Woods.
Actually, chat's calling out zer0rush did skip the magic bat check, which is okay. You can go back to that later. But there is one thing I actually would really like to see in the routing that I'm interested to see if zer0rush does. We don't have the flippers, but we do have the bow for splash deletion or just the bombs. I would like to see like fake flippers, current jump, however you want to do it. Like go from Skull Woods to Graveyard Ledge, and then across the river to turn in that mushroom and do Catfish. I want to see if either runner does that.
Fair call. We did see the cane of Brian, or Berna, as it's actually called, in Skull Woods here, and that was a heart piece or container there.
4 items in Skull Woods, plus 3 small keys, plus a big key. I don't think we've seen any keys yet so far. If this isn't one, zer0rush has to save and quit. But he's bailed out.
Yep. That was a change in V31 of the logic. It used to be that room was always going to be a key to prevent a soft lock, but they decided to eschew that in version 31 of the logic. So you can now find something there. And as mentioned, if the stars align just right, you could be forced to save and quit out of there.
Yep, and it's unfortunate, but the decision making behind it was basically you've got to make the decision to fall in there to be forced to save and quit. So if you do that as a player, that's on you.
Alrighty. Looks like we are going to see the magic bat check here from Zelda.
This could be big as something that zer0rush left behind earlier. And we did see a map check on Zelga's side, but I could not get what desert was earlier. It was too quick for me. Chat saying it's a
same here.
Though.
All right. Well, big payoff, but not a whole lot else. 300 rupees off of the magic bat.
Yeah, and with that other 300 that Zelda found in the back of Pod, he was functionally set for the rest of the Ceodon rupees anyways, so not sure how happy he is with that pull.
And chat correctly pointing out, zer0rush would have loved to see that, because then he wouldn't have had all that trouble with the chess game. Which is entirely valid.
Yep, entirely valid, entirely unfortunate. I'm not sure if zer0rush wasn't thinking about it or didn't logic out that bridge chest had to be a small key, but it had to be a small key. Mothula cannot hold small keys.
Might be a little bit salty about that rupee situation, to be honest. I know that sort of thing would frustrate me and make me not think clearly.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but I'm giving zer0rush credit for this one and just assuming that it's not that. Because I know the dude's just really good at video games.
Again, to be at this point in this league, that's a pretty big given. All right, so just a map there and another crystal for zer0rush.
Yep. And also, just to clarify for chat a little bit, because of the small key doors en route to Mothula, if you use all your small keys elsewhere in the dungeon without going to Mothula, it would be possible to key lock yourself out of reaching the moth if it was holding a key.
Yep. Yep.
And also, our tracker Relkin in chat, keeping good track of things for the most part, but saying that the flippers and the hookshot can be in GT. We've got to remember, we found that Cane of Samaria on the hobo, which is behind the flippers, so not going to see the flips in GT today. Hookshot, very, very possible, though. So really, good shout-outs to the tracker for keeping chat up, identifying that hookshot logically only blocks a small handful of locations. The very back of Swamp Palace, where the flooded chest and the boss is, and then 3 chests in Hookshot Cave. Beyond that, all it blocks is in Ganon's Tower.
The red dots signify that those are the 5-6 crystals for this seed, to answer a question in chat.
Yep. Having both of those crystals lets you go back to that bomb bender that Zelda spoke to earlier to learn what those are, and it lets you buy the red super bomb and the hole in the side of the pyramid to see the fairy in there. Similarly, the marked pendant is the green pendant. You can take it to Sahasrara near Eastern Palace, and he will give you an item, which in the vanilla game is the boots.
Yes, indeed. All right. So zer0rush finding out that there's just a heart container on the bumper ledge, so we're not going to be needing to go back there today. And he is checking graveyard ledge at the very least here.
The real question is whether he follows through afterwards to the east side of the Dark World. Which he's got all the gear he needs to if he wants to minor glitch his way over there instead of taking the long walk around.
All right, there is another bottle for zer0rush. All right. Oh, okay. For a second, I thought he'd forgotten he didn't have boots yet.
He did forget he doesn't have flippers yet, but...
Immediate turn jump, just completely just be like, okay, I got this.
I've never seen that setup for that before, but that was awesome.
That was smooth. That was smooth as silk right there.
Like, I've seen similar bomb jump setups in places like the Tower of Hera, but wow.
Yeah, that was smooth as silk, especially coming off of a, oh wait, yeah, that's right. Although, to be fair, that could have been intentional to help set up that Kern jump. Oh, shovel off the mushroom. And people who saw the last game of the regular season the other day are probably having flashbacks right about now.
Yeah, that was a party.
My poor teammates of third strongest mole getting that chain. Oh boy.
Yeah. Good news is that he can check that basically whenever he wants. It's just essentially a save and quit to Link's house.
Yep. So it isn't quite as annoying as it was for our runners the other day. Bombos off of the catfish. That could be important.
We've already got the fire rod, so that's not going to be our Ice Palace entry, but it could still be our conventional Mire or Turtle Rock entry.
Not quite. Oh, wait, no, he was asking about the situation yesterday, which I just remember it was annoying. I can't remember the exact specifics of it. All right. But moving... Go ahead.
I know the seed yesterday was a triple fetch. I believe it was shovel to powder to shroom.
Yeah, and then shroom had the Titan's Mist. Yep, you're right. All right. Looks like Zero-Rush going to go ahead and do the Dark Old Man rescue here now.
We
do have access to all of Death Mountain here, apart from this.
Yeah, and apart from those 3, well, actually all 4 chests in Hookshot Cave. Cannot get to any of them as is. But he is choosing the mountain minus those 4 checks over the Pyramid of Power and Palace of Darkness, which would have completed his full Dark World loop.
All right, just bombs from the old man, which that's concerning, but all right, and Zelda continuing to follow in Zero-Rush's footsteps here. No reason not to, honestly. But if this keeps up, then not looking good for the spoilers here, as obviously following in someone's footsteps in a race is not conducive to winning said race.
I mean, you say that, but Zelga's already fully cleared out Palace of Darkness, and I'm not sure he's behind by more than the time it takes to full clear that dungeon.
This is a valid point that I completely forgot to consider. Thank you.
He is doing the back-to-front clear of Skull Woods, which does mean that he's a little further behind the route than he might look, just because Zero-Rush did a full front-to-back clear.
All right, both of our tablets not really containing anything useful for us today. And this is, again, a good point from chat. Zero-Rush has been having money issues all seed after paying off Zora, because Zero-Rush can't do Palace of Darkness right now because Zero-Rush only has 20 rupees.
He had the opportunity to double his money, and he said no.
Yeah. And he still hasn't done that magic bat either, which is 300 rupees just waiting for the taking there. Some interesting choices from Zero-Rush here.
On the other side, Zelda does have his Mothula kill down. Was not quite as cooperative around the spikes as it was for Zero-Rush, so it took a little longer, but...
All right. Oh, setting up the bomb jump here is Zero-Rush. Nicely done. And there's our butter sword. Okay, sure.
Dude, I love this seed. The number one thing we do not want to see Mothula drop here is a small key. Moldworm, excuse me.
Right.
Moldworm drops one of those. We are presumably in for the 45-ish second title room break.
All right, Zelda going so far as to check the pedestal, same as Zero-Rush did, gets the news that the ped is in fact dead. And there's that small key for Tower of Hera, unfortunately for Zero-Rush.
Skipping that chest is a very valid and viable option, especially in a race, but
right.
How gutsy are you to do it, especially knowing how many items you've still got to find?
Yeah, there's a lot of items left to find, and Zero-Rush is going to go look elsewhere for them. Good. Another interesting play there.
Yeah, but like I said, I get this one. You're racing somebody else who's really good at this game, and that's a very slow check. And even for as many items as you've still got left, like, it's still it's like, honestly, the slowest check in the game.
Coming down to check Paradox here first.
I'm not really a fan of doing this before Spiral Cave, but...
Yeah, I almost said something about that, but I wasn't quite sure enough of it to really question it. Because, I mean, not to be too self-deprecating, but there's a reason why I'm sitting here and not getting ready for my own playoff match. You know what I mean? But, yeah, I would have gone into Spiral Cave at the top, done that, and then done this. But that is how I would play it, and there are certainly other ways to play it, as we are seeing. Only real thing of note in Paradox Cave is that bottle there.
Our tracker is saying that he dead-rocked himself, and that may have been blocking the Spiral Cave ledge, and I just didn't notice that. So in that case, this is...
Oh, actually, what it was blocking, now that I realize he just said got dead-rocked, what it was blocking was entrance to Turtle Rock. zer0rush was going to open up Turtle Rock, see that, and do the Dark World, what he could of the Dark World first.
That's a play too. Well, I guess he can't. Well, I'm trying to think. If Bombos opens Turtle Rock, he could actually get to Laser Bridge.
Mm-hmm. The other thing to consider there is, I mentioned doing Dark Death Mountain, but as you pointed out earlier when I mentioned we had access to all of Death Mountain behind that Dark Old Man check, we can't touch Hookshot Cave at all. So all we can really do in Dark Death Mountain is open up Turtle Rock, if it is indeed Bombos, and check the 2 chests in Super Bunny. Which,
Yeah, and I'm still just trying to wrap my head around what he was thinking with avoiding the conventionals. Do Spiral Cave, drop down, and then climb with Paradox Cave and go Turtle Rock from there. But looks like he may just not be intent on opening Turtle Rock at all without that Ice Rod, and mathematically just a bit more than 1 in 3 that he can open that to begin with 1 medallion in hand.
Does have the mirror equipped here, although that's also for block deletion here, as we'll see in a second.
Yep. Without the hook shot, this is the way you've got to do it. It's a little... Well, I don't know if it's actually slower unless you account for the menuing. It's certainly easier.
Yeah, to this day, I can still not consistently hit that hook shot glide. I have no idea what I'm doing wrong with it either. As zelgadissan climbs up Tower of Hera here, zer0rush. Gonna go check Turtle Rock from the Dark World side, where he doesn't have to deal with those pesky dead rocks. And that's Bombos. So it looks like he is going to, at the very least, open the dungeon up while he is up here.
I'm interested to see if he's gutsy enough to go in, because without the Ice Rod, you cannot kill Trinex, but you can get everything else, and that is a lot of pulls to get that Ice Rod.
Fair. Or something else we might need in this seed, because Turtle Rock likes to do that a lot too, be holding on to items required for other parts of the seed, like, say, those flippers.
Yeah, Zelda just took a bad fall trying to set up a Hera bomb.
I stand corrected, because the Canis Samaria is flipper locked.
Okay, yeah, not the flippers today, but it could be like holding the hook shot, or like the flute with the Ice Rod in Swamp Palace or Misery Miner.
All right, so going to the left first, receiving a small key. A good catch also by chat here. Zelga is not going to be able to do anything that zer0rush is doing here, because Zelga has not gone to Catfish yet.
Yeah. The value remains to be seen. Like, zer0rush actually catching himself with lighting those torches. No hook shot means he's got to take the slow route, but like if Turtle Rock turns out to just be a total rabbit hole and bait for zer0rush here, then Zelga gonna save time by being forced not to go in.
This is a good point. And also a good heads-up play by zer0rush there to catch himself just in time to go the other way. Without that hook shot, you kind of have to do the maze the slow way. Well, he's not going to be slow anymore, because those are the boots.
Okay, that's a good find. zer0rush is bailing with those. I actually quite like that play, now that I think about it a little bit.
Yeah?
Because, yeah, Zero Rush, he's going to get the one in logic check here. And then he'll go from there.
All right. What do we got? We got Ether. We got a bounce back across, and he is going to attempt to hover here.
He can do it. He's good at this video game.
He can do it, says he falls. To be fair, hovering is one of the more difficult tricks to pull in the game. It requires a lot of precise button mashing. And just the slightest lapse in concentration means you're falling.
Yeah, we've seen lots of people need a few tries to get this. Although I do wonder if there does come a point where he's just going to say, nah, never mind.
Yeah. Looks like he's making sure he's got it here. Oh, I think that was his furthest jaunt yet there. Checking his form there on safe land. And there we go. Oh. Bombs and 10 arrows, not worth it, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it feels bad to blow all the time on this, but looks really cool.
At least you can hover up like he's doing here instead of having to go all the way back around.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in all the time Zero Rush is spent on Hookshot and Turtle Rock, Zelda is just about through with the light side Death Mountain sex here. Fortunately, nothing of note in Hookshot Cave, and it looks like Zero Rush is actually going to go back into Turtle Rock here.
I liked the bail to begin with. I'm not sure how much I like the comeback in. I guess boots aren't huge progression. Like, that ether is actually in logic. And there are Bonk Rocks in King's Tomb. And if he finds the flute, boots are logical entry to Misery Mire if you have the medallion.
Right.
So they're pretty multi-purpose, but it's not a huge number of checks like if he had found, say, the flute itself.
All right. Trying to survive the chain chomp room here. Does so. Gets the big key. Nice. Meanwhile, Zelda into Dark Death Mountain now. Gets the items out of Super Bunny. Unfortunately, not going to like what he sees. Well, I mean, I don't see how he would like what he sees at all because he doesn't have any medallion. And does not know that the Bombos is on Catfish. But has that information now.
Yeah, and he's going to take the walk over to Spike Cave and clear that out. He should have picked up the Cane of Burn in Skull Woods, I believe.
Yes. Oh, there's the Ice Rod in Turtle Rock.
Ignore anything I may have ever said about noping out of Turtle Rock being the good play. Like, total hindsight bias talking, but never nope out.
Zelga's gonna check the coffee break room here. That's what he's going to do.
I'm pretty sure he'll get Spike Cave after clearing this out, but if he had to walk back anyways. Also, just to recap for Chad a bit, the Bombos medallion to get into this dungeon is on Catfish, which Zero Rush did the most smooth and beautiful kern jump I have ever seen to go from Graveyard Ledge on over.
Alrighty. So now Zero Rush mirroring to check Mimic Cave here. That Butter Sword not really too worried about these mimics. Not really a whole lot of reward for beating said mimics. But then again, when you're Zero Rush and apparently are allergic to rupees, 1 rupee might not seem too bad.
Yeah, roughly 2%, not the worst return in the world.
Alrighty. I completely missed what was on Basement and Hera. Must not have been anything too important because chat didn't immediately explode.
It was some arrows.
All right. The expected small key there in Crystal Roller. Whew. I looked over and saw Zelda on one heart with no invincibility and just about fainted there.
Yeah, but he had the Cane of Burn and just waiting for the last possible moment to activate it. Because when you save and quit, your magic carries over, your health does not.
Fair. All right, nicely done, dark platform maze by zer0rush there. I would.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm wondering the same thing you are. I think. Where is Zelda going?
Yeah. Good news for zer0rush is he picked up a big 50 off Laser Bridge, so he is pretty close to pod money. Would happen if he picked up that 20 in the Hera basement cage.
Oh, he's already done both 5-6 crystals. He's opening up the pyramid.
Oh, right. Hera Skull Woods. That's a thing for sure. zer0rush on one heart says no safety door for me, thank you.
Oh, that's spicy. Oh boy, he does have that powder, so if he wanted to get up and close and personal with a anti-fairy there.
But he refused that one too.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah, red sword, red mail butter sword should be no problem, but oh, that's still spicy.
Yeah, like, honestly, I think zer0rush wins this Trinex fight no problem. Let's say 97 times out of 100.
50 rupees and a hook shot in Pyramid Fairy.
Zelda's got it going on. If he just finds those flippers now, he can full clear Swamp Palace. But that's still a little ways off. And zer0rush got Trinex down, no problems at all. And yeah, Zelda going up to Catfish now. He'll get his Bombos medallion, or not.
Graveyard Ledge?
Yeah, he didn't do this earlier, so he's doing it now. I'm not sure this is faster than going to Catfish first, but yeah, I can't imagine him not checking both items here.
Yeah, I do kind of have to question not doing Catfish first if you're going to do both here, because now you have to kern jump to get back over to Catfish. And okay, leaving that bottle behind. Okay?
I mean, the real question here is whether that kern jump is faster or slower than backtrack walking from Catfish. Because backtrack walking from Catfish instead of saving and quitting is definitely slow.
Very good call. Very good call.
I think Zelda's got the faster route here. Especially with that first try kern jump.
Yeah, indeed. All right, using the Book of Bandura now to enter into Desert is going to be zer0rush.
I think that this Desert is going to be our logical progression. Probably in the form of the flute.
Fair.
It's basically, my thought is that it's very likely to be either the flute or the lamp. And if it's the lamp, that all that really accomplishes for us is Death Mountain, which we've already seen what's up there. And
well, there's our
boots were the big boots were the big progression on Death Mountain. So that would strongly imply something in the Bonk Rocks or King's Tomb.
Zelda is heading up to Zora's domain after a mirror bonk. I don't quite understand what happened there, but that's unfortunate.
I don't think he realized he bonked, is all.
There's your flippers, by the way, in desert, so you're correct.
Yeah. The progression was here, it's just not the progression I expected it to be. Although it makes a lot of sense, because that opens up both swamp and ice basically in full.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot more checks than the Mire area I was expecting to be next logically.
Yep. And by the way, that also puts the entirety of Turtle Rock in logic, because that does give us access to the Cane of Samaria.
Yep. So the only unresolved logic chains at this point are the dark rooms in Palace of Darkness, which, aside from that crystal, I believe nothing.
All right, so zer0rush now heading back to take on Landmalus. No, Zelda, you've seen this, buddy.
No, he's taking the portal. I think he wants to go to Ice Palace.
Oh, okay. I did not think of that particular application. Well done.
Also, chat's correcting me and reminding me that the entirety of Death Mountain is still behind a dark room and therefore not in logic. Thank you, chat. I had a moment there.
Well, to be fair, I was the one that actually had the moment, and you just agreed with it, so...
And then also just a brief reminder for a recap for chat. We have seen 2 medallions this seed. Bombos on the catfish that both runners have, and Ether in the bonkable chest of Hookshot Cave. We have not seen Quake, and without the flute, we don't know whether that opens Misery Mire or if it's one of the 2 we already have.
Nice, quick Landmalus kill there for the medallion. Medallion, wow. Pendant of Power.
Yeah. Silver arrows are an amazing weapon. And zer0rush has 120 rupees finally.
Hooray! Oh, you know, just the 1 hour, 5 minute Agina's cave check, as you do. Looks like, are we going to see Icebreaker here from Zelda? Yep, he's equipping that Cane of Samaria and heading to the right.
Yep. Icebreaker makes routing this dungeon so much better, so... And there's a very clean, no pause buffers, just a sword buffer there from Zelda. Very quick and very clean.
Indeed. And just the single arrow of destiny on Agina, which, that's just rude.
Yeah, but there's a reason that check got put off until 1 hour and 5.
Yep. All right, Zelda, not falling to muscle memory and pulling the tongue to open the door there, like I do all the time when I ice break still. And continuing on through Ice Palace here.
Yep. And with Icebreaker letting him route this dungeon in a sane and fun way, the only checks he's got left are this Freezor chest,
which has the flute.
Boom. Boom. Nice bomb jump as well, gonna let him get to the iced tea room very quickly. Then after that, it'll just be the big chest and cold stare. And zer0rush found his alternate mountain access in the Bonk Rocks, which means that he knows the flute is not behind the lamp.
Alrighty then. Bug catching net there, nice tea room.
So at this point, I think zer0rush needs to be pretty well aware that his flute is in one of the flipper dungeons.
Yep.
Either swamp or ice.
All right, so as chat points out, I think that puts us at the knowledge of what medallion we need to get into Misery Mire away from no mode.
Yep. Will not be a full go mode on either side until zer0rush. Well, he's going into ice now, so he'll find that flute, but he'll either need to find that hookshot and Pyramid Fairy, or Zelda will need to get into Turtle Rock. And Desert for those flippers.
Which zer0rush does have the full capability to go get his hookshot, because he has also cleared Tower of Hera and Skull Woods. He just needs to remember to go to the bomb vendor and pick that up.
Right. The only question is, when will he?
That's a fair call because he does have access to this. He does have access to Skull Woods. He may decide to go dungeon diving before he does the big red bomb.
Right. And especially consider zer0rush is on 5 crystals right now. And he's going to get the progression for his... Well, he can get his 6 when he goes to pod. And he'll be able to get his 7th, presumably with the flute out of this dungeon, assuming it's not Quake to open it.
So, as chat also points out, Swamp Palace isn't quite as significant a play because it would be hookshotlet.
Right. And I'm concerned about the implications of it being a pendant as well for Zero here.
This is a fair call. All right, just bombs on the dig spot. I'm not sure if we saw that from zer0rush. I don't believe we did.
No, I'm pretty sure that's a new check, and honestly, with going to activate the flute and having to save and quit, well, didn't have to save and quit out of ice, but definitely the fastest thing to do there.
Alrighty. So it looks like he is going to activate that flute, obviously. And I would imagine a check of Meyer is going to be the order of the day, and possible DP Meyer double clear.
Yeah, for Zelda here, I would expect the Meyer Desert combo and then Swamp Palace after that with the flippers he gets out of Desert, which probably going to result in him full clearing Swamp. May or may not skip left side depending on how he's feeling. I'm not going to speculate on that at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, the only dungeon he'll have left is Turtle Rock.
A nice bomb jump from zer0rush there as well.
Zelda checking the desert ledge and then fluting right back to 6. If you have the boots, checking the ledge like that is slower, but he does not have those boots because those were in Turtle Rock, and he didn't have bombos when he went up the mountain. So checking it like that is fast.
Oh, and that's bad news. Well, no, that actually might be a good thing for Zelda. That Ether Medallion is in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, that'll force him back up the mountain before he can go in and do a dumpster dive here, Misery Meyer.
So with that, we are also in no mode, and zer0rush is just about in go mode. Well, no, he's not. Sorry, I apologize.
Yep, he already has that flute, but that hook shot's going to be the question mark for him.
Yes.
And also our tracker, Relkin in chat, bringing up that red bomb costs, I believe it's 100 rupees.
Yeah,
Although
that's fair.
There is a 300 in the Dark Maze, so he should be fine even if he goes to pod first.
Yep. And there's also a 300 on Magic Bat, which zer0rush has still not yet done.
And he missed his spin, which lets Cold Stare out of the corner there, and not... It's still a relatively quick kill on zer0rush's side, but it wasn't nearly as clean or as quick as Zelda's. Because, yeah, Zelda basically... He had the ideal Ice Palace boss kill, basically.
Yeah. That was pretty fast, pretty smooth there by Zelda. Now Zelda clearing out Desert here.
Yeah, notably doing the back before the front. Does not have his flippers yet. Will not have them until he goes back into the front.
I would assume at this point, though, he would at least think about checking the front. Or getting some of the other items out of the front. But,
yeah. Because I think he's... Sorry, go.
No, I was about to say, I think I was going to say about the same thing as you do. It's pretty much down to this and Turtle Rock for him at this point, isn't it?
Yeah. He is pretty much out of... Actually, for him, I think at this point he's basically down to just desert for progression because that flute is flipper locked. So he needs to find the flippers to get the chain back together.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like he is indeed going back into desert here. All right, Zero heading into the Dark World here from the Kakariko portal.
Is this going to be a purple chest for him? And presumably the magic bat.
I would presume, yes. All right.
Okay, yeah. Pulling out that mirror, he's going to go right, and then he'll hit his portal again and just grab the purple chest as he comes up those stairs.
Yep. And then I would assume he's going to flute to 4 and do Big Bomb into Palace of Darkness, which will put him in go mode.
Yeah, if you're rooting for zer0rush here, then that's the play you want to see him make. If he flutes directly to 5, then that's a bad sign for him. But if he flutes to 4 and just takes the Big Bomb, then he'll get his hook shot, he'll be in go mode, he'll be in good shape.
Yep. I mean, he's probably still going to be in pretty good shape regardless, given that Zelda still needs to go up to Turtle Rock, get those boots and that ether.
Yeah, probably yes. Though it really remains to be seen because zer0rush, he's got GT access right now, even though he doesn't know it until he checks the Mire area.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically, if he plays for GT, he's in trouble. If he doesn't, he's good.
Oh boy. Zero is going to check Mire here, see that he can open it.
Obviously check the shed first to make sure that your go mode's not in here. But what will he do after?
Yeah, that is the $64,000 question.
He's going for Misery Mire.
He did just equip that mirror. Oh, he's going to do checkerboard.
Okay, yeah, this makes total sense. Regardless of whether you want to go into Mire or you're not. Because if you do, you check this to make sure you're not in go mode. And if you don't, you check it anyways.
Meanwhile, Zelda is going to Swamp, which is unfortunate if you're a Spoilers fan or Zelgadissan fan, because yeah, there's not going to be anything in here.
Yeah. The other side of that is there is a case to be made for skipping left side here if you're Zelda. And if he follows through with that, then it's not a big time loss. It's just the extra chest in the south really is the only one that takes a lot of extra time.
Fair. All right. So zer0rush into Misery Mire, Zelgadissan into the Swamp Palace. Both runners, unfortunately, going to be doing large chunks of dungeons they really don't need to.
Yeah. Zero had a beautiful Mire 2 room there, clearing it out in one cycle.
Chat pointing out, with this being Map Compass Shuffle, there is +2 items here in Swamp, which means there's a pretty decent probability of things being on left side Swamp. And when you're this close to go mode, do you really want to skip left side Swamp?
Yeah. I wasn't thinking about Map Compass Shuffle when I said there was a case to be made for skipping left side. I mean, there still is a case, I think. It's just not nearly as strong.
Yeah. I kind of feel like advocating, like thinking about skipping left side swamp here is almost an admission that you really don't think there's something here. And if you really think that, then why are you here at this point?
Because you've got to do it regardless.
Fair. Fair point.
It's the same reason Zero-Rush is still looking for the hookshot. This is all dungeons. You have to kill every single boss listed on the tracker.
Alright, so cutscene for Zero-Rush. Compass room for zelgadissan.
Okay, so Zelga is doing the left side here, and he's doing the non-backtrack left side route, which I really love here. Have you seen this before? Do you know how it works, Wes?
I do, yeah. I have seen this, yes.
Alright, so you know how great it is. Zero-Rush gets a vanilla big key out of Meyer, and he's doing a rail clip here. Puts him... Oh, didn't get it.
Oof.
Would have let him save a room or two there. Save a few seconds at least. But yeah, Zelda flooded his key. He left the bomb so that it exploded as he was walking out. That caused the crystal switch to change back to blue when he entered the room with the key. And he, on top of that, did the diver down trick to recover the flooded key. That saved him a lot of backtracking and makes left side swamp not nearly as bad.
I did not realize that diver down was going to be part of that. I of course had seen the way Zelga went into that room prior, and I actually do it when I can, when possible, but I haven't quite learned diver down yet, so I have an odd definition of no backtracking apparently. So don't mind me.
Zero-Rush is trying to be an absolute one tried to be an absolute madman there after he fell off the bridge.
All right. So, as we know, nothing left side swamp for Zelga, who now has to go back here to the back of swamp and kill Argus. Zelga continuing to make his way through Misery Mire.
Yeah. Also nothing to be found in Misery Mire except the required Vitreous skill.
Also, I think I just said Zelga making his way through Misery Mire. Whoops. I meant Zero-Rush, of course.
You're just, what, like maybe 15 minutes too early to that?
Yeah, about there. Going for another diver down application here is zelgadissan. Nicely done.
Yeah. Honestly, probably not even 15, because I think Zelga's going to go straight to Turtle Rock after this, and that'll get him his ether. That'll be his, well, that plus his, well, let me rephrase
Ice Rod.
this. He'll get his Ice Rod, yes. He'll also get his boots, and then Hookshot Cave will be very quick on the menu for him after that. Actually, he might get ether before going into Turtle Rock just because it's in Hookshot Cave, but regardless, Zelda will be in go mode very quickly either after entering or finishing Turtle Rock, depending on how he orders Hookshot Cave in there. And yeah, hordes. Hard.
Yeah, nope, you're fine. Zero-Rush now into the Vitreous boss fight, and as you have said multiple times in this here race, silver arrows are an amazing weapon. And just as quickly as that reference was made, down goes Vitreous. Zero-Rush.
Yeah, the big eye of Vitreous is one of the very few things in the game that can take more than 2 silvers. Like you can see on Zelga's side there, Argus can only take 1.
Argus I've found is a bit more difficult to pin down with silvers for me, so I generally still tend to stick to like sword spins. But all credit to people who can, you know, lead a moving target, because apparently I'm not one of them.
Yeah, there's a few setups for it. Just pick the one you like and learn it. And zer0rush looted to 5, going the direct route to Palace of Darkness. So may miss his hookshot here until after Ganon's Tower. Granted, as he's demonstrated, he doesn't need it for Ganon's Tower, but...
Zelda, I think, going to turn in the green pendant here and be disappointed with whatever Saha gives him.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but from his perspective, not making this play here is a fairly large risk.
All right, so there's that. Both runners receiving the 5 rupee reward for the green pendant at about the same time. Zelgadissan Death Mountain now, and I think this could be it.
Yeah, like he's got nothing left on the mountain unless he chooses to get his ether out of Hookshot Cave and then bail.
Which would be a rather odd play, considering he does have that Bombos, and there is quite a bit of Turtle Rock. Well, all of Turtle Rock he can check without that, all the way up to Trinex. Now, that being said, well, no, I feel like he has to go into Turtle Rock at this point because that ether doesn't really do anything for him.
It does open up Meyer, and it lets him clear out Meyer. Just
Fair.
Basically, it would be a hedge
that.
against. It would be a hedge against the Ice Shroud not actually being in Turtle Rock.
All right, hammer out, portal open.
He's gonna open this regardless of whether he goes to Hookshot Cave first or not.
Yep.
And I really think he's going to go to Hookshot Cave first just as a hedge against Ice Rod in there.
All right, zer0rush, meanwhile, clearing out Palace of Darkness.
And chat saying that Zelda won't lose that much time by going to Meyer first after getting Sather here. And actually, even though he'd be in go mode if he did Turtle Rock first, still completely correct, only because the big key in Meyer was vanilla. So that's going to be a full clear for Zelda regardless.
Much faster and safer hookshot cave for Zelda here. By virtue of, well, having that hookshot. So he gets the news that ether was really the only important thing here, a lot faster than zer0rush managed to. And now he's going to go into Turtle Rock, so Zelgadissan is hopefully very quickly going to be in go mode here. Well, quickly as this could go for Turtle Rock.
Yeah, all these rails are a little slow, but Zelga's go mode is in the lava chest. So he's not very far from that.
All right. So while both runners traverse dungeons we've already seen. Whoops, sorry, go ahead, Rick.
And I was going to muse a bit about the time difference between what zer0rush's route and when he would get back to Pyramid Fairy versus Zelda, but...
No, then go ahead. That's more useful content than what I was going to do, which was basically going to be, not to show my age, but like, you know, the bit like on radio baseball games where they pause for station identification. It was going to basically be that. So go ahead and provide actual content.
Yeah, it's the whole thing that I'm thinking here is basically, as far as I can recall, zer0rush doesn't even have any checks left besides Pyramid Fairy in the main overworld. Like all he's got left is that Turtle Rock or that Ganon's Tower and Swamp once he finishes this Palace of Darkness. So, but he will full clear the Ganon's Tower basement. Well, I say that Hookshot blocks a lot of the left side of Ganon's Tower, but he'll clear a lot of it looking for that hookshot. And hopefully, honestly, maybe the best case for Zero is that the big key is behind the hookshot, logically. That way he can just logic it out at least a little bit.
Fair call.
Anyways,
Also, I love.
yes.
Sorry, I just love. I'm gonna just call this out. I love how chat called me out for the station identification thing. Apparently, there's a rule where that has to be within 5 minutes of the top of the hour, which I didn't know. The things you learn on rando streams. But yeah.
Well, the good news is we're not a baseball stream, so go right ahead.
Yes. Yeah. And I guess actually what I was going to do was just talk about as Zelda enters Go mode at 1 hour 28 minutes and 10 seconds. I was actually more than just saying, we are on SpeedGaming. Follow the runners if you haven't already. All that good stuff. Using the commands that Adirondack Rick and now one of our chatters has just posted. Follow everybody involved with the production as well. It's myself and Rage here. I was actually also going to just kind of reset about the league itself. This is the first game of the playoffs. And there are the three runners of each team were assigned a pendant prior to the start of the season. And each of those pendants takes one of the first 3 games of a best-of-5 series. Pendant of Power is what we're seeing here. And Pendant of Power got to choose their seed, higher seed picking the mode, and lower seed getting 1 veto. So zer0rush initially chose inverted all dungeons, Sword Assured Master Shuffle, or Master Shuffle, Map and Compass Shuffle. And Zelda vetoed inverted. The other 2 pendants, Courage players will be playing Open and Wisdom will be playing Ambrosia. It is technically a best-of-5 series, and we'll talk more about games 4 and 5 as they become necessary in each series. zer0rush takes down Helmassar King. And Zelda heading through the platform maze here. Looks like he's having a slight bit more difficulty than zer0rush did, but gets through it regardless.
Yeah, that room can go off rails a little bit in the dark, but I'm presuming zer0rush is going to head to GT here, so I'm opening the floor to chat to play the Ganon's Tower Big Key guessing game. Oh, he's not going GT, so you've got a little extra time. He's checking that shovel first. Regardless,
go ahead.
You want to explain it?
No, I was going to say something else about something else, so go ahead and explain the Ganon's Tower game.
Yeah, there are 22 locations in the basement of Ganon's Tower. One of them has a big key. Regardless of who enters Ganon's Tower first, based on the routing here, which is almost certain to be zer0rush regardless, we'll be following zer0rush's route. Well, I say that. No, that's backwards. We're following the route of whoever gets into the tower first, which is still dead certain to be zer0rush. Because Zelda still has to be Meyer.
And Zero
and guesses
right back up the mountain.
Yeah. Guesses will stop when zer0rush actually enters the tower.
So what I was going to mention was I was corrected by Fear Agent. The veto comes in before the mode is selected. So Zelda said, you know what, you can't do inverted, and zer0rush made this seed. So, or chose the flags for this seed, I guess would be the more accurate way to put it.
Interesting routing from zer0rush using the mirror to go to the top of the mountain here. I thought he was going to use that time to check the Hera basement, which is another check he skipped earlier, but no.
Yeah. Alright, so Zelda through Turtle Rock here.
Chat reminding me that this is literally the I don't have a hookshot route for Death Mountain.
Yep.
Because yeah, zer0rush is still looking for that, and you'll have to excuse me, I'm not used to being in GT outside of Go mode.
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting situations that can happen in all dungeon seeds, and this is, in fact, one of them. Are we going to see a bird toss from Zelda here?
Yeah. Bird toss is old hat.
Bird smash? Bird ignore. Oh.
Yeah. Save the frames there.
True. Yeah, and this is a playoff race. There really is no time for memes, as pointed out by chat.
Okay then, that was a thing. zer0rush still looking for a hookshot though, gonna continue.
Wow.
And shoutouts to Comfort Zone, who was the watcher who guessed one first. A lot of other guys also guessed one.
Unfortunately, that God Gen's tower is not going to help zer0rush at all because he still needs to look for that hook shot. Zelga's going to love to see that if he goes Hope Room first.
If I recall correctly, Zelda does like Hope Room first routes. Don't quote me on this, but I'm like 60% sure.
Nice full magic drop there for Zero. Chat confirming. All right. Zelga heading to the left side of Misery Mire. We'll see if he goes into cutscene or if he decides to gamble on the other chests having something first.
I don't remember if there was a small key here. Okay, there is, so Zelga's going to go straight to it. His Misery Mire key logic 101. The left side with the torches is locked by 3 small keys. However, it can be 2 small keys if the big key is there. Therefore, if you see a small key in one of those chests, the big key is in the other.
Alrighty. Good to know.
Yeah. Misery Mire key logic 102 is literally nothing else matters in that dungeon.
Alrighty. Zero dropping down to fight Ice Armos here without checking the big chest, but I would assume if he's committing to this Ganon's Tower play, he'll be checking that after he checks these chests.
Ganon's Tower big chest doesn't exist. Yeah, it doesn't exist. zer0rush is not going over to check a chest right now.
We were always at war with East Asia? Wait, what?
Yeah, there was no money in this room. I don't know what you're talking about.
Nice Quake medallion.
Yeah. Good thing we didn't have a pendant medallion dungeon, or that could have been required.
Alrighty. So that big chest check covers zer0rush's. Oh, is he gonna try hovering here?
He doesn't need to. He can just do this.
Looked like he was setting up for it for a second, to be honest.
He is skipping the Stalfos room because that is logically hookshot locked. This room is not. However, the rest of the left side of the tower is. So zer0rush identifying that he doesn't need to make any more checks in the basement.
And heading up Ganon's Tower. So, more time sync. Well, not necessarily time sync because he does have to do it anyway because all dungeons, but...
Yeah, like this is something, even if it wasn't all dungeons, zer0rush would have to do this. Like, there's no getting around killing Agatu because we don't have fast Ganon as a setting here, I don't believe.
We do not.
At the very least, it's not in this seed.
Alright, so there's Zelga's kill of Vitreous. I almost said Argus because why not? And he is going to be heading to Ganon's Tower here shortly. Gonna be hopefully receiving that God route first chest big key and could very well catch up to zer0rush here.
Yeah, they'll be in the tower at the same time. Honestly, I would go so far as to say that at this point, Zelda is probably ahead of zer0rush just straight up with the favorable big key. Because even once zer0rush goes and gets that hookshot out of the Pyramid Fairy, he still has to backtrack to Swamp and go mode it.
Yep.
And even if it is go mode Swamp, it's still something he has to do.
Yep.
The only real exception to that would be is if Zelda goes with a full left route that skips Hope Room, because probably even a Dark Magician route, which goes Stalfos to Hope Room, would see him with the advantage here.
Yeah. All right. Nice super speed there.
Yeah.
That's the tricky thing about super speeding into one of those portals, though, is you always seem to overshoot and kind of have to, like, be finicky about it, which is kind of hard when you're moving that fast.
Yeah. Super speed in that specific spot is of questionable value, but it's still fun. Everybody loves going fast.
Yep. Swag points. Gotta love it. My favorite is when somebody does that when they still need to hammer the pegs down, and then they accidentally miss a peg because they're going too fast. All right, Zelga indeed heading to the Hope Room first. Gonna be receiving that big key. And the small key, and he's gonna be piecing out and heading up Ganon's Tower here.
Yeah, so not going to catch Zer0rush in the tower proper, but definitely only like maybe 3 minutes behind the climb.
Going for the hover is Zer0rush, and didn't quite get it that time as Moldorm 2 looked on scornfully.
Yeah, Moldorm wants you to kill him.
Yep.
But Zer0rush saying no, knowing that the hook shot cannot be in this chest no matter how hard you try with the randomizer. And just one room away, let's see what Aga 2 has for us today.
Alrighty. So, question about the modes as we near the kind of the end point here. This is a standard mode, all dungeons, sword assured start, map and compass shuffle scene.
Yep, and that all dungeons is why Zer0rush is still hunting a hookshot. We saw him hover across the Moldorm 2 gap, but you cannot do that in the back of Swamp Palace. I think that was a 3-cycle Aga 2 on Zer0rush's side.
Yeah, that was a pretty decent Aga 2 there. As Zelgadissan threw the gauntlet now, just about to land Mo 2.
Yeah, so in good shape overall here. And the other thing about all dungeons that is a lot easier to forget, you have to kill Aghanim 1 at the top of Castle Tower. So like if Zelga forgets that and he just falls down that hole directly into the Ganon fight, Ganon gonna be like, yo, Dingus, complete your goal. And
Looks
then,
like Zer0rush gonna go ahead and kill Aga 1 while he's here.
this is okay. Knowing that the hookshot's in Pyramid Fairy, I don't really like it, but Zer0rush doesn't actually know that, so this is alright.
Right. And then the other thing it allows him to do is he does know that Swamp is his last dungeon at this point. So once he beats Swamp Palace, he can just save and quit and it'll pop him right on top of the pyramid.
Okay, yeah, that actually is a point to consider. Like, basically, my thought was, if you knew the hookshot was in Pyramid Fairy, which again, Zer0rush doesn't, then you would go just blow open the hole and mirror to Aga 1 from there. And then chat's also reminding us that opening up the Dark World portal from Aga lets you just mirror to the fairy and make that trip shorter.
Yep, I was going to just about mention that right when you started mentioning it, so... Alright, Zer0rush in Aga Tower. Zelga about to kill himself, Moldorm 2. And not going to try hovering. Instead, just 2 quick swipes of that butter sword, and down goes Moldorm 2. Hook shot through the blocks and through this room, and Zelga will be on to Aghanim 2 here shortly.
Yep. And then he'll just have to make the same climb that zer0rush absolutely blew through here.
Yeah, zer0rush just annihilating Castle Tower. Of note, Zelga is going to have to do the dark Aghanim Tower climb.
Yeah, but there are torches that you can light with the fire rod in the most difficult of the dark rooms, I believe. So, and even then, Zelga absolutely knows what he's doing. He can do that with no problem.
But it is going to slightly slow him down, which is good news if you're a zer0rush fan. Is it going to be enough to make the difference? Probably not. But stranger things have happened in Rando.
Okay, I haven't been actually counting blue balls, but I think that's 2.
I haven't even been paying attention to that at all, so...
And Zelga's a dingus. How unfortunate for him. He realized it right away, though, so he just ran up to Gan and he's gonna die. Good job realizing that before being told, at least.
Well, that's gonna say cost him a little time.
Yeah, but that's only like maybe 10 seconds tops. He's still fine.
All right. So, Zero killing Aghanim 1 as Zelga climbs up Aga Tower. And now Zero really needs to head to the big bomb shop and get that big bomb and come back here. We'll see how long it takes him to do that. Shouldn't be too long because he really doesn't have that much else left to do.
Yeah, I think that pyramid ledge check, which was new information for him, may have been his last lower overworld check.
Flute to 4. Hammer out. Looks like he is indeed attempting to make his way to the big bomb vendor here. Either that or he's going to do Hookless Swamp, which, oh boy. Oh, he thought about it.
Yeah, he thought about it, but I think Zelga is almost through the dark here. He is through the most difficult parts of the dark for sure, making good use of the fire rod, knowing where those torches are to light them up. And yeah, Zelga's out of the dark, so he is smooth sailing all the way through to Aga 1 here. Meanwhile, zer0rush has to blow this hole in the pyramid and has to backtrack to Swamp.
And then with Butter Sword, Red Mail, and Silvers, once somebody does get to the Ganon fight and Ganon is vulnerable, it shouldn't be too long at all before we have some roasted big pig.
Mm-hmm.
All right, zer0rush opening up that bombo wall of the pyramid there, just as Zelga is heading to the cutscene here.
Oh, nice hook speed there. Hardly ever see that.
The swag hook speed.
He's got to remember that when you're in a super speed state, you can't swing your sword.
Yep.
And yeah, just pressing the boost right there. On zer0rush's side, it was about an hour, 46 minutes, and 25 seconds for him to hit go mode. And all he's got left is Swamp Palace and the pig.
Alrighty. Zelga, meanwhile, just kind of making his way through the Aga 1 fight here.
Yeah.
I always feel like Aga 1 is the more annoying of the two fights, simply because you know 2 of 3 of the clones in Aga 2 are going to be producing balls that can damage Aga, whereas here you're at the mercy of the RNG on one Aga.
Yeah, there's definitely a strong case for that. And actually, just strictly numerically, you're totally right. Because even a bad Aga 2 fight is going to be like 6 cycles at most. And if you're getting a 6-cycle AGA 1 fight, you're a cheater.
I mean, this is true. All right. So there is the AGA 1 kill for zelgadissan, and he is feeling it right now. Giving the D-pad a little bit of a spin there.
Getting that refill, and zelgadissan is no longer a ding as he can kill Ganon.
All right. The companion duck will not betray you, and cannot speak. But is the cake a lie? That's the important thing.
Always is.
I mean, to be fair, have you seen that recipe? It's got some stuff that'll kill you dead in it, which is completely on brand for GLaDOS. Now that I think about it, but enough about Portal. Let's talk about this Ganon fight here. Ganon already in phase 3 thanks to that butter sword.
Yep, Gold Sword makes the 1 cycle free on both of the first 2 phases, and the 3rd phase is just limited by how many warps you get.
And it looks like the pattern's being pretty friendly here. Yep, there it is.
Yeah, the first 2 were definitely friendly. The 3rd one was a little bit, and that one... That's actually a double, so that's pretty good. And Zelda, yeah. That's free.
He got a little close to the edge there for my liking, but other than that, that was a pretty decent Ganon fight there. Get your GGs out in chat for as long as he survives the most dangerous 1x3 in all of Hyrule, zelgadissan is going to, and there it is, finish in first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 49 minutes, and 20 seconds. Done. Comment, LOL.
Yeah, and we'll see if he'll join us for an interview. Unfortunately, I think now would be the time to mention we have another race coming up on this channel in 10 minutes. It's going to be team. We're bad at team names versus WJPTBB, Synac versus JTB, playing their playoff game.
We'll get a few quick words from Zelga here before we send you on over to the next crew. And we'll bring him on in.
Hey, Zelga, GG.
Or not.
I don't think you can be heard, friend.
How about now?
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. GG. Thank you very much.
So, got about 3 minutes here as zer0rush gets his last pendant, and he's going to run up to his Ganon fight. So, anything you want to say to start us off?
When I got to the restream right about the time, honestly, right about now-ish, and I saw what was going on, it hit me in GT that you could get the boot from Turtle Rock and bonk to Ether, and then look for hookshot in GT. And I realized at that moment, with everything I had done in this race, that was the only possible way I was going to win. So I feel like I basically just kind of lucked into a win here. Zero's a great runner. So, I mean, it's rando, it happens, but you want to win off your strong points as opposed to kind of getting lucky like this.
Yeah, although I don't want to take away anything from the game you ran, because you ran a very good game the entire way through.
Yeah, I felt like overall I was being really efficient while I was full clearing the whole stupid game. Like, I mean, I had 5 crystals pretty early, but same time, like, man, just everything that was really important was getting really late into the race, and I was getting pretty worried. And yeah, like I said, I feel like I just really got lucky in the long run here.
So, I guess here's one question I got for you. zer0rush just put the 4th arrow in. I don't think he's going to be joining us. We've only got real quick time, but if this series goes to a game 4, a game 5, are you going to play a second time? Do you know that yet?
We haven't talked about it whatsoever on our team, but
all right.
There's a decent chance. We'll see.
Yeah, just got to work through those first 3 first and see how they go.
And for those of you that keep track of this sort of thing, zer0rush has finished in 2nd place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 4 seconds. GG's to him as well. He has already left the race room, so I do not believe we will be seeing him in here. even if we could, we are gonna need to wrap up here shortly to send it on over to the next race. Anything else you guys have to add? Reggie pretty much asked what I was going to ask already, so.
No, I was a big fan of the seed itself, especially at the start and through most of the game. It just, hookshot location aside, it just felt like a really comfortable seed to me, just as a viewer. So it was fun watching you just tear it apart and do a nice full clear up.
Well, yeah, I actually, come to think of it, I remember we got a lot of stuff early on in this seed, and I remember making a comment that combat was going to be easy, which would imply something was going to troll us, and I'm not sure I would call that hookshot as trolly as I was thinking when I made that comment, but that is still a pretty significant troll. So, yeah. Zelda, any final comments from you before we send this on over to the next race?
Not much. Just GG's to Zero again. Thank you guys for coming, tracking the restream. Really appreciate it. And best of luck to Big Boots against the rest of our team. And maybe we'll see more rematches.
All right. Sounds like a plan to me. So that is going to about do it for this race here. Coming up next here on Speed Gaming 2 is going to be Team WJP TBB versus Team We're Bad in their first playoff matchup. Thank you to my co-commentator Reg and our tracker Relkin, and thank you to Fear Agent for being the producer of this restream. You can find more League content at ALTTPRleague.com and the Speed Gaming series of channels, Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 6 here on Twitch. My name is Westside Vandal. Enjoy the next race, guys. Have a good night.
Yep. Stick around. See you guys later. And Team We're Bad is only actually bad at team names if they made the playoffs.
This is fair. Good night.